Today, I'm going to be discussing things on being successful. So I'd like to talk about what is it that makes somebody successful versus somebody not successful. And then in the midst of that, I want to discuss what exactly is success. So stay tuned and roll the footage. So we're back. So I want to get into the term success, and I want to also compare it with fulfillment. So a lot of people think that if you're successful in life, that you're going to be fulfilled, and that's not true. And I can prove this to you in many different ways. But you have to remember, success, when you're talking about success, it's a numbers game. Okay, there's a science behind it, meaning there's a cookie cutter method for the most part. If you do what this person is doing 95% of the time, you're going to get those results. So behind success, there is a science. But now when you're talking about fulfillment's not the same. In order to be fulfilled, it's based on principles. I have a video that I talk about the 6 human needs. Okay, we're getting into principles at that point. And if your principles are not fulfilled, you're not going to be fulfilled. And when we could take, for instance, what was the actor's name? Robin Williams. Okay, by any means, I mean, most people, by anyone else's standards, Robin Williams was a very successful person. But behind the scenes, he was very unhappy. Okay, so he was not fulfilled. And, ultimately, he eventually took his life. Now, every movie that he ever made, there was full of laughter and things like that. So on the surface, you would think that this guy is totally successful. He's totally happy because this is what you see. So that's what we see. But behind the scenes, we find out it was a different story. And we've seen this with other people. I come from the freestyle world with bicycles, and I know with Dave Mira, he took his life a while back, and I just couldn't believe it. The guy had more golds from the X Games than anybody else. So I grew up doing freestyle. I competed on ground tricks in Texas. And that's what I did. It kept me out of trouble, and it kept me in shape, and I loved riding bikes. But again, success and fulfillment, they're two different things. So don't get those confused. And just remember, when it comes to success, success is not something that you pursue. Success is something that you attract by the person that you become. And what I'm getting at, if you were to give somebody that's not well educated, and I don't mean like in the GPA in school and college, I'm saying just not educated in that discipline. So if you give somebody that's not educated, like in finances, you just give them $1 million, they're going to blow that $1 million. They're not going to know what to do with it because they never discipline themselves. They're not successful in that area. So since they never went out and read books and listened to other people and had mentors and understood the financial side of the world, you give them $1 million and it's going to be gone. That's why a lot of these athletes that get these big paying, careers, their money is gone within a year or two. Or sometimes with the actors and the singers, they'll have a lot of money and then 3 or 4 years later, they're bankrupt. That's because they're not disciplined when it comes to finances, and that's just a piece of being successful. You need to go out and read. So when people are talking about being successful, you do need to read. You do need to know a little bit about law. You do need to know a little bit about finances and taxes and business. And that's on this side. Over here on the other side, you have your other things, your personal life. You have your relationships. You have your religion. You have your career. You have your children. And then on the other side is what I just mentioned. So, and then you have to balance all of that, and that's where your success and your fulfillment will come from. Okay, so I don't know you. I don't know your hopes and dreams. I don't know what your goals are. But fortunately, it does not matter because what I'm about to tell you is universal and it works either way. So the big thing is, I always ask people, okay, what are your goals? What's your purpose in life? And they say, well, I don't know. And I say, okay, what were you doing 5 years ago? And they say, pretty much what I'm doing right now. So if you think about it, if you ask somebody, okay, what does the next 5 to 10 years hold for you? And if they don't have an answer, then you can pretty much guess what it's going to look like. Whatever the last 5 and 10 look like, they're just going to repeat that. And I've said this before. So you need to have a plan. You need to know what your purpose is in life. And that's a big thing in knowing where you're going to go. Okay, how many people here remember 9/11? What were you doing at that moment in time? Okay, what about Michael Jackson when he passed away? What were you doing that day? I remember those days. I mean, like it was yesterday. Now, think about it like this. What were you thinking at that point in time? At that time, were you thinking, okay, the next 5 to 10 years, I'm going to apply myself and I'm going to take care of this and I'm going to do this? Okay, did that ever happen? Yes or no? So 5 years, 10 years, 15 years passed. Did anything change in your life? And the thing is that if it didn't, it's because you didn't take action. And also, the main thing is the action came from your decisions. So you did not decide on something, or if you did decide, you weren't truly using conviction. So when you make a decision, I have a video on how to make decisions if you want to look at it. It's a really good one too. I break it down into 5 steps. But when you make a decision, you're basically saying that you're going to cut out all other possibilities of anything else happening, and you're going to do this. Now, there's 2 parts to that decision when you make a decision. Okay, you have your thought process where you say, okay, I'm going to make a decision to lose weight, right? And then you have the second piece of that decision where you just actually act on it and you actually do something, where they say, you walk the walk, you talk the talk, you walk the walk. So the first part is that, okay, it comes to the mind, I want to lose weight. The second part is doing it. Those are the 2 main pieces of that decision. But that's just the 2 pieces of the decision. That doesn't mean that you made the right decision. I truly believe that decisions basically shape our entire life, not the circumstances, not our conditions that we find ourselves in. And when I say our conditions, I mean, a lot of people blame things. So, well, I made a decision to do this, but this happened and that's why it never happened. So the conditions could be, your taxes are too high, you have mean neighbors, you had a single mom growing up, you were the only one in the family, you didn't have any brothers or sisters. So those are your external pieces. You don't have any control over that. But you do have control over how you act to it, you react to it. So I told you there's 2 parts to that decision, the thought process and the acting part of it. But then if you take a decision and you break it down into 3 minor pieces, you're going to have, let's say that we go back to your goal of losing weight. So there's the focus part. What are you going to focus on? That's number 1. I want to lose weight. Okay, number 2, what does that mean to you? I want to look good. I want to feel good. I want to be healthy. I want to increase my longevity. So what does it mean to you? And then the third part of it is going to be your strategy. How are you going to get there? I'm going to I'm going to get a membership at a gym. I'm going to start CrossFit. I'm going to start eating better. I'm going to get up more earlier. I'm going to start taking those walks. So that's the 3 parts of it. The focus on what do you want to do? What does it mean to you? And then how are you going to get there, the strategy. Those are the 3 pieces that make up a decision. Now, before you make a decision, there's things that you might want to consider. Okay, these are sleeping on it. If you're going to make a purchase, a large purchase, something financially, a large ticket item, sleep on it. I'm telling you, you wake up the next day, you might not want to do it anymore. You might say, what was I thinking last night? I don't know. The second part, take some time. Okay, because a lot of times you have pressure on you throughout the day. You don't even realize it, but there's pressure on you throughout the day. You have a lot of stuff going on. You're busy, a decision pops up, you think you're going to make the right decision. So basically, just take your time. The third one is weigh the pros and the cons. Okay, why am I doing this? If you're buying a brand new car, why would you buy the brand new car? If you're going to go out and buy some more furniture for your house, why are you doing that? What are the pros and cons? Well, the pros are I can get it on a deep discount, right? It's Labor Day, it's Memorial Day maybe or something. But the cons are there's going to be payments, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to afford that. Okay, if you can't afford it, then to me right there, it tells you everything you need to know. But look at the pros and the cons of the decision. Another thing is to seek advice. So if I'm going to buy some real estate or if I'm going to get into a business, the book on the millionaire's mindset, it says that out of all the families that they interviewed, the 1,000 plus millionaire families with decamillionaires, they always, for the most part, refer to either their lawyer or their CPA. These are the millionaires in America. This is who they refer to. This is who they go to seek advice on investments. So if you're talking about investing, I would definitely get with a lawyer or CPA. If you're looking at, like I said, making just a purchase, maybe an expensive wardrobe or maybe a new car, maybe you want to, add on to the house, put on another room, maybe, want to buy that expensive grill so you can barbecue, the summer's coming up. Okay, you can seek advice on that with maybe friends or something. And the best person to ask really is your better half. So if you're married or what have you, get with that person and see what they say. Another thing is to reflect on it. Just sit back. It kind of goes with the first two pieces I mentioned, and just think about what it is you want to do. Is this really the right thing? Deep down, what does your gut feeling tell you, which is basically your brain? What is your gut telling you? Is this something that you really want to do? Number one, is it a need? Do you need to do it? And when I say needs, I'm talking about a real need. Water, food, air, shelter, clothing, those are needs. This is a true need. I mean, you have enough clothes. Do you need more clothes? You have a nice house right now. Do you need to really build on another room? You have a barbecue pit already. Do you really need that $1,200 barbecue pit? So look at it in that way, shape, or form. And then the last thing you can do, I call it the 10-10-10 method. Okay, so after you make a decision, let's say, ask yourself, will you be pleased 10 minutes from now? You'll probably be like, yeah, pretty much. Will you be pleased 10 hours from now? Will you be pleased 10 months from now, 10 years from now? So the 10-10-10 rule. So do you really think that you'll be pleased with this decision that you've made 10 months, 10 years? Look at it like that, because that puts it out further, and that gives you some that gives you a way to look at it into the future to see if it's going to do any damage, if you will, because right now it might be just fine, but maybe who knows, maybe you have an adjustable rate mortgage, and maybe next year your mortgage is going to go up a little bit because of the interest rate or something, and you didn't foresee that. But that's something that you need to be thinking about ahead of time. Today, my main topic was, I talked a little bit about success and fulfillment, and there are differences. And then I got into decision making, which is you making choices in your life. And I truly believe that one decision in your life can change everything. It can change your entire destiny by making a decision. Okay. Now, if you have opportunity, things like that come your way, rarely will they interrupt you. So you need to be able to not only recognize a good opportunity, but it needs to be something that you understand and you might have a passion for, and it's something that you can do, and it's in your niche. It's something that's in your wheelhouse, as we say. So just because an opportunity comes by doesn't mean it's going to always work. And it's good that you can see that it's an opportunity, and you understand that, hey, I have an opportunity, and you didn't just let it go by. But should you really act on it? That's going to be up to you based on your knowledge, skills, and your attitudes and what you know about that. So that's just something to think about. So anyway, I hope this video has helped you in some way, shape, or form. If it has, please share with a friend. Again, smash that like button. If you're new, consider subscribing and hitting the bell. And I do appreciate it, and I will see you the next time. Thank you very much.